I know I'm going to screw this up. So, I'm trying my best not to.
Guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now.
Links here.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears.
Okay. I think I'm live. Let me go check. It says I am.
Don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound.
Morning, Wendy. Hold on 1 second. I gotta close this
Guiding me
door.
through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears. Guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Now AI tracking. I hope this works. There we go. Okay. I don't know why this one's on Do Not Disturb. Come on. Focus. Do not disturb. Why are you dinging on me? Why is it dinging when it's on Do Not Disturb? That's weird. I think it's just catching up. Okay, yeah. Sweet, I am live. Thumbs up. Even though there's nobody here. It does seem weird that when I'm, and of course it doesn't do the thumbs up for me. I don't know why. It does seem weird that the later I show up, the fewer people that join. So, and I don't know if this is just, I did hear a door open upstairs. Morning, Josh Weber. Josh. Berkshire Hathaway. We're going to talk about Apple. We're going to talk about Nvidia. We are going to talk about, I keep getting, all my texts are coming in late now on my iPad. That's why. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Western Digital and SanDisk. We are going to talk about opening range breakout. It's kind of a cool, God, my hair looks horrible. I hate this. It's going to take me a week to get it white. Halo. It's not just a game on Xbox. But this was an interesting. We're going to take that down. We're going to take the closed captions out. And the Palo Alto Network CEO. Palo Alto Network was released earnings, and honestly, God, they were great. And the stock is down just huge. And it's kind of the message that I want to stick with, which is sentiment. Top 3 things to look for on Wednesday, and we'll go over alpha picks and stuff like that. So lots of charts, lots of sidekick, lots of quant in the pre-market. I mean, Apple's up at 261. I think you get back to 280. You get back there at some point this year. Amazon's at 203. I think you get back to 220 at some time this year. Bank of America, I think you dip to 50. I think that's going to turn out to be support here. Berkshire, we'll go over that one, but that slowly has climbed back to 500. I mean, you can see it's been pretty much a straight across since March of last year, February. While the market was in growth, Berkshire was just kind of hanging out. So Cleveland Cliffs will be a $15 stock again. That's $10, so that's a nice 50% gain. Morning, no BS, Bob. Costco will be under $1,000 if you want to wait for that again because it's just too expensive. Google will be under $300 again, so you can buy that one for a pop over $300. Robinhood will probably be a $100 stock again at some point in time this year. Meta will absolutely be a $700 stock at some point in time this year. MPLX at $57.58 will be a $60 stock at some point this year while giving you a 7% dividend. Nvidia will be over $200. It will finally probably get over $200 after their earnings at some point in time this year. It's just not sure when. Palantir will be back to $180 stock. Shopify will get back to $174. We've gone over that one. VOO will be back up near the 630, 640 mark at some point in time this year. It's just one of those indexes. XLK, that will be back at about 150. It's trading at 140. Exxon will probably get back to about 130 at some point in time this year. So there you have an interesting one. My friend just emailed me about VRT. It's up 1.7. Larry, that's an interesting one. So there's your look at the core portfolio, by the way. And Qualcomm, by the way, if you like chips, it will probably be a $175 stock again. But memory's going to, they basically mentioned memory's going to be the issue. And so what do you want to invest in? Do you want SanDisk? Do you want Micron? Micron under $400. I think it's still around 400. Micron is at 401. I think under 400, you can see a triggered buy right there for me. I had an alert set up, so yeah. And I need water. I'm going to get this going quickly. Morning, Travis. Girlfriend has a fever again. So, we're looking at hitting up Teladoc again. This way. There we go. Ooh, I'm slowly moving my camera around. I do have a second camera angle. Which, why the hell did it do this? Hold on. It did this again? Oh, there we go. Camera control. Yeah, I got two cameras. I don't know why it does that zoom in. Yeah, she's fine. I mean, I think she had 101 last night. It was 100 point something. And now it's down to, I think, what'd she just text me? 98.7. So she hasn't taken any medicine. There any news? I mean, 5 years later, Kathy Wood's ARK is still down over 50% since its 2021 peak. Costco stuns with Nike sneaker drop. SSR mining 6%. It was down, but they had earnings, I guess. Alpha Pick up. It was up 6%, but it's now only up 3%. But it was down. I mean, I was down 7%. I mean, look at this one. If you want to see, we can look at the. Is this a strong buy still? Yeah, it's a strong buy with earnings up 3%. Again, it kind of works, but you were down 7%. And if we just look at a 5-minute chart in after hours, we'll take a look at this. It does pop. I mean, you can see last night you could have gotten it at 26. You popped all the way up to 28. So nice 10% move, about 10%, maybe a little bit less. But Nvidia and Meta, there's New York Times wrote SimilarWeb shares plunged after the company posted Q4 earnings. Palo Alto shares dipped after mixed results. I don't know if I'd call it mixed results. I mean, you're playing up to the headlines there, but in my mind, I think, again, I haven't made many moves in my portfolio at all. I did buy the new Alpha pick yesterday. That's an interesting one. I got to add that to this portfolio here on Trendspider. To be honest, I got to clean that up today. Okay, I'm going to start the podcast now. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 18th. Is it 18th? Yeah, it's 18th. Wow. Big show, Alpha Picks. We're going to talk about market sentiment and why that's so important and specific stocks that's taken place in, because sentiment, again, if you're looking at seeking alpha and you were to pull up something like Apple, and we'll pull that up, the factor grades, you've got valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions. Sentiment is really momentum. And you can see Apple has a B. Why? Well, 3 months it's down 1%. The sector's down 5%, so that's positive. 6 months it's up 13%. The sector's down 4%. 9 months they're up 24%. The sector's down up 1.9. 1 year Apple's up 7.8. The sector is down 7.29. So again, sentiment is a big deal in the market. It is probably the biggest one. And we will talk about individual stocks. Hedge fund filings are out, and the markets, kind of what's going on. But yesterday we had an alpha pick, a new alpha pick. And if you don't know alpha picks, you can go onto Linktree. Okay, go to this third link right down here. It will take you to a pricing page where you can save $50 off of Alpha Picks. It is a data-driven portfolio that has beaten the S&P. You can see the performance 296% versus the S&P at 80%. During that same time, I was completely wrong. If you use Linktree and you just go look at the newsletter, we had Tuesday office hours yesterday. Okay, this one, I made a prediction that it was going to be one of two stocks. I was completely wrong. Completely wrong. This particular pick, it is a consumer discretionary pick that was a previous alpha pick that had solid returns. I think it was like 20, 30, 40% in a year. The company is doing aggressive buybacks right now, which make it basically went from a hold to a strong buy just based on those huge buybacks that they're doing. So again, the rule in the Quant is if it's a hold for 180 days, they pull it out. That was the reason it got pulled out. In August, it is up 42% in 6 months. Again, the portfolio, if we are to turn into a downturn, we saw this last year, the portfolio holds fundamentally sound stocks that have high ratings in 5 Quant categories: valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions. Okay, those are analyst revisions. And specifically for Apple, you can see 33 analysts in the last 90 days have brought it up, earnings per share. 34 brought revenue up. The only ding is earnings per share down. They are in a growth mode. So I looked at Steve Kress on this pick. He picked this one as a top, the new pick, not Apple. The new alpha pick yesterday, he actually picked it as one of the top 2026 the top 10 AI stocks in 2026. He mentioned the growth grade, which is where it turned around. So if you're into alpha picks, again, go over here to your alpha pick section, go and look, we had a new one pop up. Now let's talk about the markets, because QQQ, you're trading at 602. I've identified this range between 585 and 638. That goes all the way back to October of last year. It seemed like a lifetime ago. But what's the market going to be looking at today? Well, it's going to be looking at the VIX, because the VIX spiked over 20 yesterday, and that is a key level. When the VIX spikes over 20, you typically have the market coming down. It's going to be looking for this to get under 20 again. It's down 1% in pre-market, but it's going to be looking for it to get under 20. They're going to be focused on durable goods orders for fresh insights. Again, I don't know what time that comes out. I'm not monitoring this on an hourly basis, but that's what they're going to be looking at. And market participants will be watching release from analog devices for signals on demand across the industrial and automotive end segments. Again, Seeking Alpha gives you all this. But let's talk about market sentiment, because in yesterday's office hours, again, the office hours right here. In yesterday's office hour, I took everyone through a stock. A stock. It's a software stock. We know what's been going on with software, because we know that, hey, software has been hit. Why? Because everybody thinks AI is going to disrupt software. So I took you through this. You saw gold miners yesterday. All the gold miners like SSRM and other ones that we own, Barrick, they all got taken to the shed yesterday because, again, a run up in gold and any kind of pullback, the miners are leveraged and they're going to get killed. But in yesterday's office hours, going through Adobe, okay, I took everybody through. If you simply looked at the fundamentals of this company, just the fundamentals, the stock, just like every other software stock, looks like it would be a screaming buy right now. Wall Street, in fact, has this stock at 58% upside, $413. It's trading at $260. Is this one you want to buy? Because market sentiment is this momentum segment right here. And that is why the power of the quant is so good. Because this factors in market sentiment. It doesn't factor in, hey, what's the PE? What's the PEG ratio? What's the profitability? What is year over year? Where's the revenue growth coming from? This factors in the actual thing you care about, which is the stock price. Okay? And if we go and just look at a chart of Adobe, and you were to say, oh my God, this looks like one I want to buy the dip on. Well, how low can it go? Because the reality is, back in March of 2020, okay, this was when the world shut down. Adobe was trading for a low of $283 a share. Today, you can get Adobe for $260 a share. So is Adobe a buy? Well, market sentiment, again, would say no. Look at the performance. So do you want to buy this one as it's on its way down, or do you want to wait until it starts to go up? I personally will wait for a 10%, 20%, 30% move. Usually that 200-day is where a lot of traders will not buy a stock under that 200-day, and that's on the daily. So if you look at this one on a daily, as it starts to get above that 200-day, well, maybe on the weekly chart, it can go up. Again, it's important to understand technicals. And what's great about this is with Trendspider, I don't even need to understand technicals because I can use Sidekick, and I'll use Sidekick later. And remember, Trendspider, if you go to Linktree and click on that top link, okay, they're having a 2-week trial for $12. We'll go over that in a little bit. But I want to talk to you about a stock. There are selective opportunities within the software sell-off. So are these stocks that you want to get into? They're talking about Team, Atlassian. I think ServiceNow. I think Salesforce. There are plenty of software stocks that have been taken to the shed and are actually buys. And this analyst is going over it. Well, you can go and look at the IGV. What are its top holdings in the software soft? It's Microsoft, which I think is a screaming buy. Palantir, which I think is a great buy. It's just expensive, and you're going to have to understand that. Oracle, I think they have other problems other than momentum. Salesforce, it's been taken down. Intuit, can they get out of it? AppLovin. This is a great example of a stock that I wanted to get out of. And I just got out of it. It is now at the holding percentage that I have in Alpha Picks. That's it. And it also, since we're in software, Palo Alto earnings had their earnings last night. Okay? Their earnings were fantastic. They were great earnings. The guidance, a little light, it seemed. But they are normally very conservative. And so this may be one where it's the momentum taking it down. And we can see the momentum down 20% in 3 months. 6 months, it's down 7%. 9 months, it's down 15%. 18% in 1 year. Its profitability is fantastic. Its growth, 15% revenue growth year over year. But it's because they've been doing buys. They've been going out and buying businesses. And so the CEO is on TV saying, hey, the market is getting this wrong. You hear this a lot from CEOs whose stock price has been taken to the shed on what would be considered great earnings. This stock is trading at $150. When was the last time it was at $150? It was back here in August of 2024. So if you've been holding on to this like I have, it's dead weight. Now, I luckily enough got this back in like 2022 down here at 73. I've got plenty of room on the downside. This is a great company. Now, if you're watching the show on HBO Max, it's called Industry, okay? It's a great show if you're a trader. English accents, I sometimes have to turn on the subtitles because I don't understand it. But in this particular season, the most recent season, there's a woman called Harper who's a trader, and she's shorting a stock called Tender, I think is what it's called. It's a payment processing stock. There are clearly fraudulent accounting situations like Enron in this show, okay? The market, and they show you, the market keeps pushing this up. So her short position, she's losing her shirt, even though she has undeniable proof that there is fraudulent accounting going on. That's market sentiment, and it can be a stronger force than even fraud. And so when you see these software names go down, and you're looking at a stock and you're saying, oh, this is a strong buy, take a look at something like SanDisk. Or I'm sorry, let me type this in right. SAND, SanDisk, SNDK. That's the symbol. When you're looking at something like this and you look at the momentum, look at that momentum. Memory. What's the bottleneck we've seen? Look at that momentum. XLE. Look at this momentum. That is momentum. That is market sentiment. So when you're looking at something, make sure you have something, whether it's a chart, because market sentiment, you can understand it in a chart. You look at Microsoft right now, and it does not have good market sentiment. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look at the moving averages. They're still moving positive on a weekly basis. But short-term market sentiment can take it down. So let's talk about particular stocks. Because Josh Brown, Halo, okay? Mike Wilson. If you don't know Mike Wilson, he's the biggest bear who's turned into some kind of bull now for some reason. But he wrote this note about Halo. Halo, more than the eye meets. There's been a lot of focus on hard, heavy assets, areas of the markets recently as these stocks have been seen as relatively insulated from AI disruption. That's what the market's doing. It wants hard, heavy assets. So I see Josh Brown loves Halo. And again, Mike Wilson likes Halo. So let's take a look at Halo. Let's go over here to Seeking Alpha and use the system that we have in place. And we can look at it from a quant standpoint. It's a hold, but it was a strong buy. What's happened? The price has gone down. What's happened? Well, it's the earnings per share revisions. You went from an A to a D. Why? Because some people have been bringing it down. And when you look at this, again, yesterday, their earnings came out. They're down 1% in the pre-market. When you look at their momentum, they're doing well. When you look at their profitability, they're doing well. When you look at their growth, they're doing really well. When you look at their valuation, it's a C. You want to know what all that stuff means? Well, go in here to the AI and you can look at valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, revisions. Again, it's all outlined for you. And say you don't have Seeking Alpha, but you have Trendspider. Again, the tools that you use make a difference. Well, you can see Halo in the 4-hour algorithm. It doesn't do bad, makes you 65% over the last 2 years. Its average win, 13%. You can see it got you in here at 72. Doesn't have you out now. Pre-market, you're trading at $80. It's not a bad gain. It's over 10%. MACD, not horrible. RSI at 59, not horrible, not incredibly overbought. But again, they had earnings. So I had Sidekick yesterday. Look at it pre-announcement. And I used the actual prompt. I had it look at, we've used it for Credo. We've used it for LITE. We've used it for SanDisk. We've used it for Micron. We've used it for AMD. We have used it for so many. And it's a simple prompt. Can you do a full Wall Street style analysis of Halo earnings? Halo before their earnings. What price should I pay? It goes over it. And it says the fundamental announcement, attractive PE ratio, profitability stellar, growth explosive, the balance sheet great, concerning drop from their 1.65 down sharply from 11.9, business model strength, 9 approved commercial products, okay, pipeline. Remember, this is I think it's a biotech stock. Let's see what sector it's in. Yeah, it's a biotech stock. So it goes over this chart analysis, 52-week range, 51 to 82, current $80.71, near its 52-week high. Year-to-date performance plus 51%. Technical concern, parabolic move, stock rallied from $60 in August of 2025 to $82, 37% in 6 months. Wall Street sentiment, insider activity, major red flag. The CEO sold $20 million of shares. Again, this does it all for you. Key risk, dependency risk. Valuation, what price should you pay? Bull case, $95 to $100. If PE stays at 16 times on $8, earnings per share midpoint, 128. Conservative, 20 times. Base case, 70 to 75. So would you buy it at 80? Not on the base case. And if you're thinking, well, it needs a little bit of a bigger pullback, it's saying, hey, 55 to 60 is what you should pull. So it says the recommendation, do not chase at $80 plus. Wait for a pullback to 68 to 72. Avoid above 75. If earnings crush, look for a $72 to $75 buy on the dip. And the bottom line, exceptional business. Crushing earnings consistently. Massive guidance raise in January. Strong margins and profitability. The bad, the CEO is selling. That's not always a bad thing, but it is a red flag. Stock near 52-week highs. The verdict, this is a hold at $80. Buy at 70, 72. The business fundamentals are excellent. Do not buy at the current levels before earnings. Did Sidekick just save you a ton of money? We'll see. We'll see, because right now it's trading at $80. But we'll see. Remember, Josh Brown put his thesis out there. Mike Wilson put his thesis out there. We went up and used Seeking Alpha. It says it's a hold. Wall Street says it's a $79 stock. So Sidekick, right on par with what Wall Street says. Seeking Alpha analysts say it's a strong buy. The latest rating, right here. It was, let's see, February 2nd, and it's up 10% since then. We can see Stephen Ayers, his latest rating, it's up 20. It was a buy back on December 15th. It's up 26% since then. Biologics, they rated it as strong buy back on October 23rd. They're up 20% since publishing. Again, you can see all of this in Seeking Alpha. The tools are out there. And Trendspider, even, I just showed you Sidekick, but Trendspider has this thing called opening range breakout. Okay. They have tons and tons of just strategies, scanners, indicators. They're all free for you to import. This one, the orb trading strategy, short for opening range breakout, is a popular day trading strategy that looks for breakouts above the opening range high or below the opening range low during the first candle of trading session. This collection includes everything needed to trade and scan. You want to be a day trader? Try this out. You can probably earn back your monthly revenue, the monthly cost of this, just from this kind of stuff. Import it, understand it. And again, Trendspider is telling you, want proof? Backtest the orb strategy running on Tesla, NVIDIA, SPY. See the win rates, see the drawdowns, edge over opinion, and you can import it into your Trendspider setup. So again, speaking of Sidekick, we can go over, Sidekick and SanDisk. I went over SanDisk with the paid members yesterday. SanDisk, Western Digital announced, okay? Sidekick said, wait for a $550 price point. SanDisk is now at $572 in pre-market. Why? Western Digital is selling $3.2 billion of their SanDisk stock at $545 per share. That's going to push the price of SanDisk down. They're going to push that down. I think that creates an opportunity in Micron. And in fact, this was all discussed yesterday. This is outside of me. Okay, this is outside of me doing anything. SanDisk this is the chat between some of the newsletter folks. And it's not paid newsletter, they're free. So Ben posts the SanDisk, the number one quant rated stock just added to the quant system. I keep buying under 600. Maji says, nice. Again, it's under $600. The dip could be your next move. And then Ben posts that story. SanDisk was spun off from Digital a year ago. And then, Western Digital's posting it. And Eli points this out. Eli is great. Eli works for a company called Zebra, I think. Who just reported earnings like up 20%. But he's been telling us that memory is the bottleneck, even in his company. And this particular article is a great read on Micron. And his company had another discussion at work, how much they have to pay for memory. Just to give some context, even for our devices, the senior leaders up to the CEO are deciding which products they are developing that get preference for the builds. They're struggling with memory. And yesterday, during the paid newsletter, I told people, do this little kind of workshop. If you are invested in any memory, Micron, SanDisk, Seagate, Western Digital, whatever you're invested in, go to Amazon and look up the SanDisk memory cards, okay? Go and ask Amazon to do a 6-month price comparison chart for you. They have doubled in 6 months. I'm sorry, doubled in 90 days because it only goes back like 90 days. So again, you want to know why I'm big on memory? It's because of this pricing bottleneck. So when you look at SanDisk, SNDK on a chart, enter in what price you want to pay for it. Particularly, I want to pay around what Western Digital is selling, around $550. So I don't need to look at a chart. I just set an alert in Trendspider. And FYI, Sidekick had me set this alert way back here on February 10th. It went down to 540. It said, hey, you don't want to buy here at $725. You want to buy at $550, and it outlined it. Again, paid for my entire year of Trendspider using Sidekick and understanding where to buy. Where's the support? Where's the resistance? It doesn't give you trading advice. It looks at the chart. It looks at the fundamentals. It gives you guidance. You have to take the trade. And before you go looking at other companies, go and look at NVIDIA and Meta. NVIDIA is as cheap as it's been. We can look at the chart of NVIDIA, but they just announced a huge deal yesterday where NVIDIA is going to sell Meta a ton of chips. This chip strategy is still playing out, and NVIDIA is cheaper than it's been. It's another circular finance deal, yes, and Michael Burry will come out and say short NVIDIA, but this is a good thing long term. I own both of these companies. They're not top five in my portfolio, but both of them I have very solid positions in. The biggest stock in my portfolio, and you can read all about this, NVIDIA announced multi-year partnership with Meta to expand AI infrastructure. It's basically NVIDIA giving Meta, who, Jensen just said, they're doing AI the best. And the stock price has not been kind. Now, I want you to do this for every stock that you have. We can go and look at like the Dow 30, and we can look at, let's see, performance. My view, I want to see, did you do summary? Yeah. So if you don't have this, I have this in my Fidelity account. And so in my Fidelity account, I have this, what I call 52-week sliders. Okay. And you can look at where the stock price is compared to 52 weeks. You can see something like Amgen up towards its 52-week high. Its 52-week low is 261. Don't you wish you bought down there? Well, you have the opportunity in some stocks, like CRM, which is trading at $180. Its 52-week high is 329. You have the opportunity in United Health, which is 52-week low of 234, 52-week high of 606. Visa, trading at 319. Its low is 299. So again, use these sliders, understand where you are in the trade and within your own positions. Now, a stock that I love is Apple. Apple makes AI push into a trio of new and updated devices. This is by far my largest position. And I've said I am not buying. Well, I have seen the range in Apple. Call me from the top of the mountain. Again, raise your hands, be a preacher. Because I have seen this range between 260 and 280 at some point in time again this year. This is going to be a $280 stock. Why? Because they're pushing into new areas. The issue right now is just AI, Siri on the Apple device is not good. But you know what? They don't have to get it perfect. They just have to do it better than others. And I have trust in Apple that they will do it better than others. I shared with the paid members yesterday a great chart on CapEx of the Mag 7 and how Apple is just doing things right. In fact, I listened to a tech podcast this morning, and they were complaining about the Android apps not being as good as the Apple apps. And you want to know why? Apple has the ecosystem. It just works. And you look at this 52-week range between 169. Don't you wish you bought this at 169? Way back here, back in April. Even 180, even 190, even 200. Okay? The issue with Android versus Apple, talk to a software developer. Go and find one on LinkedIn and ask him the question. Every Android version, you have a new Pixel phone, that's a new version of Android. You have an old Pixel phone, a different version of Android. You have a Samsung phone, that's completely different than Pixel. We have to develop for that one. Oh, it's an older Android phone, older Samsung phone. We have to develop for that one. Go and talk to a developer. Apple just works because they don't have different versions of the iOS system. It's just one version. So you're seeing this again. This is the ecosystem. And if you want to know the truth, this is over 2 billion devices. And their app store, they still charge 30% for any revenue you get through the App Store, and you can't sell a device on iOS without being in the App Store. And so the reality of this is any app, say it's a Claude, say it's something else, if they want to be on iOS, they're going to give Apple 30%. So whether they get Siri right or not, they will win with AI expanding. I'm a big believer in this. Wall Street is a big believer. They still have a 10% upside with 292. I am telling you, if you buy this one under 260 and it goes to 280, that's not a bad gain. And the risk reward for me is fantastic. Now, what you're seeing today is a bunch of press releases on what's called a 13F. This is hedge funds. They have to tell you about their buys and sells and blah, blah, blah. And so you're seeing a bunch of this. The biggest one, Berkshire Hathaway. This has the ability to push stocks up or down. They acquired 5.7 million shares of New York Times. We saw it in the New York Times. That's up 2% on nothing other than Berkshire buying it. It boosted its stake in Chevron. That's up 2%. Okay? There were a lot of moves, stake reductions. They reduced in Bank of America. They reduced in Apple. They went from 227 million shares to 238 million shares. 238 to 227. So they sold 62 billion. They reduced their exposure to Amazon. I've said Amazon, I think this one might be the best stock, but it also could be a dead stock just based on the spending. And you see the range that we've got there up to 242 at some point in time over the next year. I think you're back up at 242. But Berkshire is saying, hey, we've got enough. So understand what you hold, understand what they hold. Understand if you're going to buy or sell stocks based on Berkshire doing this, go and look at the value of these stocks. And you can see Seeking Alpha took a look at the Quant ratings of the top 15 constituents according to their releases. What's the best one? DVA, DaVita, which is a healthcare stock, and you're seeing it pump. This was 107, just what? At the end of January, it's now a $150 stock. When did it go to strong buy? Well, let's look. It went to a strong buy at 137. Back here on, let's see, the 9th. Let's see what Wall Street says. Their price target is 151. Do you want to buy this one? Again, its quant rating is exceptionally high. You can see the valuation. You can go and read about it. I am not a healthcare professional. I do not like healthcare to invest in. I will probably stay out of this, but this is a solid way of finding stocks in a down market. Again, the market is fluctuating. We're seeing moves from one names to the other. So maybe you want to know, well, how high can the market go? Is the market ready for a crash? If we look at SPY and we say, okay, well, how high can this go? Because right now, let's look at the daily, which is what most traders and most people look at. You can see Liberation Right Day right there. We were 23% down by the time you started to see the 50-day move on the weekly. Well, the 200-day still moving positive. The 50 hasn't moved down. The 9 and the 21 have moved down on the weekly. But when you pull this value, this volume by price here to Liberation Day, where are the majority of people holding SPY? Well, it's right here between 680 and 688, and you're trading at 682. If you lose this, then I would say start buying. Why? Because prediction markets, they're saying how high can the S&P climb in 2026? Here's where it is. They're saying 7,200, which would be 720 on SPY. Remember, you're trading at 680. 68%. Now it's saying 9,000 above. Again, you have a 66% chance according to prediction markets. So make sure whatever tools you use, you have the ability to check things out. Because again, all of the tools are here. You want Trendspider? A $9 2-week trial. Go and use Sidekick for every stock in your portfolio. Understand what the portfolio is. If you want the annual plans, you can get my 4-hour algorithm, which is what I use personally. And again, you get it on any annual plan. $51 a month, you can get it. The reason why I say go to this $128 a month, you're saving 40% and you're getting 52 training sessions per year. Divide 128 by 4 because 4 weeks in a month and you're getting about four trainings a month. Well, it's about what, $30? It's a one-on-one training session with a product expert to guide you through your setup on Trendspider. And you can get it once a week. You can say, hey, Sidekick told me this. Can you tell me an indicator that might be available to use on this one? Can you tell me, how do I set up the RSI? What moving averages do I want? These candle patterns that are automatic, can you explain that to me? Can you tell me how to set up alerts? You can get all of that with 52 training sessions per year. If you get this one down here, you get 1 hour. You get 1 hour. You can pay for extra training sessions. By the way, I think they charge like $75 for these training sessions. That's why this one's such a good deal. Now, the sweet spot for seeking alpha, I suggest premium and alpha picks because you save over $150 when you get them together. And again, alpha picks, data-driven portfolio has beaten the S&P. Why do you want Seeking Alpha Premium? It's because it gives you the quant. You can go and look at all of those the factors on everything. It will give you a health score of your portfolio. You want to look at the health score of the Dow right now? 3.33. There's 1 buy stock and 29 neutral stocks of these 30. So again, the quant is saying, hey, it's not a time to load in. But maybe Sidekick is telling you, again, prediction markets would say if the risk is up there, if you feel risky, don't do it because the likelihood of getting above 7,200 is not there from the prediction markets. That's not a huge gain. Maybe there's better places in the market, maybe by picking individual stocks. So go and get a free 7-day trial of Seeking Alpha Premium. And if you're really into the quant, and you want to make some money on a day trading basis, I just showed you Trendspider has day trading tools. Well, so does Seeking Alpha. It's the Pro Quant. And the thing that I use the most is this upgrades and downgrades section right there. It literally tells you every stock that is upgraded in the quant on a daily basis. And you can see the ones that are downgraded from the quant. Maybe it's ones you want to get rid of. But again, these tools provide me the best look at my portfolio. If you have any questions, hit me up. Everything is on Linktree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick. It's literally on the screen below my head. And even my email address is there. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, let me throw this into... And George, he said he went over Josh Brown, let me see. He said he went over Halo. I think it was let me see. I think he put this in as one of his strong buys. Oh, yeah, I get, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. He doesn't love Halo. Oh, yeah. It's not the stock. George, you're right. It's not the stock. I'll wait for people to hate me on that one. Hard, heavy assets. Whoops. That's funny. Oh, well. I think the overall podcast was good. Other than that, I'm not going to edit it out. Let's see if people notice. Good catch, though, George. You're a better listener and reader than I am because I just missed that one completely. I said, ooh, Mike Wilson thinks Halo's good. Okay, I'm laughing at that one. And I'm glad it's on the free podcast, not the paid podcast. I would feel bad leading people to a bad. I'm not a healthcare guy. Thanks, Larry. Morning, dictator. Let's see. What is the title of this one? It is. Bum bum. Export file. Next. Market's open. Let's see. Market's open. Where is my portfolio at? It's driven by Apple. But I do have a big position in Palo Alto in my retirement account. Yeah, I'm up 0.13. Ironically, my retirement account is up 0.21. What's driving that one? Let me see. Goldman Sachs up 2%. Yeah. All the shit that was going down yesterday is going up. Micron is back over 400. So, yeah. There's chats going on in the thing too. So, okay, I got to do let's see. Canva, I got to do a thumbnail. Templates. YouTube thumbnail. Sentiment, strong buys, and AI deals. Let's see. Which one do I want? Good morning. So you're feeling better?
Yeah.
Good.
And I made an appointment, but today it's closed. So it has to be tomorrow morning.
Oh, you want to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
Why don't you hop on Teledoc, get antibiotics, and let's get them today. We might as well knock what's ever, inside of you out.
I don't know.
I'm sure I've got a there's probably a doctor listening that can see you from the audience.
Yeah, but you have to test it to be sure.
Yeah. Do you want Tylenol for the fever?
No, the fever went down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay now. Like 98
Good. Here, I'll take this one. We'll use this one. Why not? I think I've used this one recently. We're going to we'll use this. Okay. And that's going to go up there. And let's shrink this down. group. And we'll say and ungroup. Ooh. One. And group. The hell's going on? Oh, it's industry. Industry is great. HBO Max. I like it. It's this show. That's the show. It's a good show. It's the first few seasons. I was like, okay, it's too much. It's overly dramatic. It's kind of. I like it for its trading stuff. And this is the girl that, by the way, plays Harper, who is the short seller in this the latest season. It's a good show. I like it. I enjoy it. It's I don't know that I'd call it like, oh my God, it's the best show out there. Like, what's it called? The Succession is far better. A far better show if you haven't seen that one. Where is my suit, Gary? The Professor. Do I want the Professor one? I can have the Professor one. Sailboat Gary. Let's just pull this one out. No, that looks like that's almost like an OnlyFans Professor Gary. Maybe I want Genie Gary. Edit. Magic grab. Grab that. Grab that. And grab that. And grab. And then we'll remove this. And we've got this. And we'll put in I should put in a Kramer. I should do Kramer. I have a bunch of others, but let's see. We're going to go and grab Trendspider logo. We'll put this. I think I'm going to, we'll delete that. And we'll delete that one. We'll take this. Trendspider and Seeking Alpha. There we go. Do 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 do. Okay. Do share. Download. Wah wah. Okay, let me go in Creator Studio and upload the first one. I know this one's done. Copy, paste, and then let's go and get this. Oh, I gotta redo this description. Oh, today's a long day. Today is one of those days that I have to change up everything. Okay. Seeking Alphas Toolkit. Seeking Alpha Bundle. Bold. Oh, I don't have to redo it. Sweet. I wasn't saying what the deals were. Oh, that's a heaven sent. Episode summary. Copy. Paste. And okay, and we'll upload the. Then I've got to download the. Interesting. 2 comments. Huh. It says 2 comments, but I only see 1. Oh well. I guess I can't respond to the other ones. And we will select all, copy, and then paste. Copy, and then best deal, bundle, copy, alpha picks, copy, alpha premium, copy, seeking alpha pro, copy, episode summary. And I think I have to. Did I take that out? Okay. Your description is too long. Let's take that out. Let's take that out and upload file. Open playlist, daily podcast recordings, paid promotion, next, on, next, none, submit, next, import video, save, next, next, public, set as an instant premiere, publish, and then this one's generating preview. Your file is still processing. And then I've got to go over here and upload it to the newsletter. Create new podcast. Let's try that. I wonder if they give higher preference to podcast recordings. Interesting. Let me look at, I should bring up Micron. Let's see how SanDisk is trading. 588, so it's flat. I can't believe people are buying the dip. I mean, look at that in pre-market. It got down to, let's see, 560. Is 600 going to be the resistance level? That'll be interesting. Again, I'm not trading these on a hourly basis or it's more a swing trade than anything. Copy and resize. We have to do an Instagram. Open Instagram post and we'll put these up here. Expand those. Expand this. Boom. Oh, come on. What? Why won't it let me do this? What? No. I don't know what the hell's going on. No. I don't want to comment or anything. Ugh. I'll leave it there. Edit. looks like a magic wand. There we go. And we'll get out of this. We'll get out of this. And then I'm going to go. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. I will see you guys Friday. Wow, this one's ripping up. What's Micron doing? Micron's probably MU. Similar, not as much though. Didn't dip as much. Okay. See you guys Friday. Take care.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.